Yeah, well, hello. Welcome back to the grind. 2000 and what is it? A 1976 BMW 2002. Wiring. So I've got this time I think the fuse box business, right? Getting that wiring up there, getting the ignition system, the ignition key to work, and a bunch of other stuff. So stick around, you'll see. It's I don't know, if I were you, I'd just jump to the end of it, because it's just wiring, and wiring doesn't make really great content, but it's got to be done. So anyhow, we're working on it to get. I'm getting close to where I think I can likely start the motor, so maybe next week we'll get the motor running, right? We'll see. Anyway, have to live through this one to get to the next one, so enjoy it if you can. See you later. Yeah, okay, back at it. This is the next challenge. See if I can get it into the car and see where things go. Oh, and I forgot I got little tweezers for cleaning out those connectors, but I'll get it all in place first before I get the tweezers out. Okay, I'll take the motor part first and stick it in the engine compartment, then we'll worry about the part that goes elsewhere. This is the engine compartment end of it here, and that's the rest of it there. See where this goes. There, perfect, all done. Ready for the next step. Should we try starting it? Hey? Yeah, we don't know if we have it right, but you know, that'll give us an opportunity to do it again. This one here, well, that went right through there, but we'll get that back out to the right spot. That's headlight stuff and signal wires and stuff like that, and this is, don't know what it does, but that's where it is. I imagine I can figure from the wiring diagram what these wires are for. That one there is definitely headlights. Don't know where the signal lights sit on this thing. Do they sit up in here? But it would seem that there's a place for the wire to come through here, and maybe a ground wire to go down there. But the this part here behind here is new, so I think I have to drill a hole through there to get the wires into there, right? Same on that side. It's new. It didn't so it didn't have the holes in it. Anyway, we'll figure that out as we go. Now this one here has only got these two wires going to that side, to here. Don't know why. That side has 4 going out to that. Well, I don't know where they go. Anyway, then this stuff, that would be a voltage regulator, and these are a bunch of relays for whatever they're relays for. Then the wiring loom goes down across through there and up, and this is one of the sensors, like a heat sensor there. That's for the alternator, and that's for the alternator. And then one wire goes way over here and hooks onto, I think, the oil pressure light over there. Either there or it goes to this one here, but I don't think it goes to that one. Maybe it does. Maybe it'll become apparent as we go along. I bet it does go over here to this. This is the heater, not the oil pressure, because all those wires should come to the front, eh? Anyway, but I won't worry about it yet. I'll see if there's another wire that goes from the oil pressure over somewhere, somehow. Yeah, and then this is the other half of the wiring loom. Well, actually, there's 3 halves here because there's some extra wires here. Where are they, I wonder? They might go in the engine compartment. Well, let's just see. Yeah, those wires. Do all these go in the engine compartment? Somewhere? More relays and stuff. kind of a computer thing. Maybe they go in the engine compartment. We'll just throw them in there and see what they look like. And a rope. Oh, sorry, you get a bit of a zoom there, didn't you? Let's go up and put this in the engine compartment, because I think that would likely go. I bet you those are headlight relays, but who knows? Who knows? These things might go up here. And then this one here might be for oil pressure, right? Or, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe that's for oil pressure. We don't know. There's lots of unknown. That's the ground. Let me see if I can figure out where this goes. Yeah, so these have some weird connectors on them. That's not weird. That's not weird, but over here they are. Like it's a double connector in there. Oh, it's got two wires going into it. So maybe that'll become apparent to what that's supposed to hook onto. Might be for somewhere else in the car, but it seemed to hook on there and went around that corner naturally. So maybe that's where it goes. It comes up to here. No, yeah. And hooks onto something up here. Maybe. Perhaps. Who knows? Now, this is for the signal light out here. And this extra set of wires is for the horn. Two horns that are down there somewhere. I have the horn somewhere. I have a horn. Might have to get a couple of horns for it. Then, now I think I've just, laid this in here. I don't know whether it goes here or not, but we'll just lay it there for a while and then see what becomes apparent later. But I don't know what those ones are for, unless they're for, no, I don't know. I have no idea. I'll have to check the wiring diagram and just see what colors are, and maybe I'll be able to figure out what they are. Yeah, more wires come through this way from the inside to here. Now, no idea what these are going to hook onto. Something. But there's lots of wires. Wonder what they're all for. These are, and those are, don't know. Oh, don't know, not knowing. Hey, not knowing. Anyway, I bet you there's a brake wire in there somewhere. That seems to be everything came through. I thought maybe they would hook onto these, but it would seem that whatever they're hooking onto, these guys are hooking onto also. Like there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only like all 4 connections out of 6 on that one. This one's got 6 out of 6. This one's got 3 out of 6. This one here has got lots. Don't know what they're for. Maybe I'll go look in the other shop and see what could possibly that be hooking to. Then maybe I'll get a clue what to do. Now there's the fuse box, right? And there's all the connectors. That's a bunch of them. That's a bunch of them. That's likely one of them. That's likely one of them. And that's a bunch of them. And that's a bunch of them. And here's how these things go together. Wait till I show you this. This is Jenga or Tetris or something. Anyway, this fuse, I don't think that goes there. I think this goes somewhere else. These ones here slide in like that, and these ones. That's likely how it goes. Something like that. Something like that. Maybe I'll find does it have it in the book? Hope so. Go when all else fails, read the book. Yeah, so there's a better diagram for the wiring diagram. Well, there's the wiring diagram in the book. Can you read that? I can't. I imagine I could blow it up a bit if I had to, but this one here is online, and it's on, like, every time I get a different car, which is, this is different for sure, I go to the Facebook club or whatever they call it, Facebook group, yeah, Facebook group, and there's 3 or 4 Facebook groups for BMW 2002s, but I just chose one and decided and joined it. Now every time I do a video, I send it up on that Facebook group. But if you look in the group, and usually you'll find a place called Files, and go down through the files, and you'll find wiring diagrams and the like. So I'll go in the house. I'm in the shop now. I'll go in the house and download that, and I'll print it up on a big piece of paper so that it's readable. Okay. Yeah, so this is on somewhere. I got this one. 2002 from 73 models on. So, and hey, you can read that, right? Big enough for my old eyes. Anyway, that'll be tomorrow's project. Okay, now I've got this out here, and my spaghetti dinner is about to start here. These things, I'll have to figure out where they go. It's kind of color coded here a little bit. In fact, it's color coded here quite a bit. But it's got the numbers here on the back, right? And then this will sit right in here when I'm done. It just slides right into there, into that hole there. And the wires come in over on this side. So all these big plastic things come in, and I think these 3 or 4 single wires come in. Okay, now from this, I might be able to figure out what goes where. So plug number 6 gets, or fuse number 6 gets purple coming out, straight purple coming out, purple and white going in. Right? So let's find a straight purple. There's on the end of the plug, right? There's a straight purple right there. That might be the end of. Then fuse number 5 gets, what color is that? Violet and white stripe. Yeah, white stripe with violet, or white with the violet stripe. That's correct. And then fuse number 4 has green coming out. Yeah, fuse green comes out that side. So this goes into number 6, which is that one right here, that one right there. That will sit on here. Then, to figure out the rest of this stuff, get this pushed in as far as I can. Then what will sit in the little gap in between, right? So this one goes here, that one goes here, that one goes right here. Then we have to find what goes here, what color goes there, right? So what color goes there is purple and white, or violet and white. That's this guy here, has got violet and white. So that's got to go like that idea there to make that work. That's just violet and white. No, that's the way that works. Hang on, I'll put it together and I'll show you how I mean. Well, did you see how these sort of just fit in like an interlocking plug, right? Okay. Okay, here now the dilemma. Now, what do I do? What do I do? I think, but I don't know. I think this stuff here is wiring for fuel injection system. Not sure, but I think that's what's going on there. And maybe I'll see what these color wires are supposed to go to, because it's 4 connectors like that, 2 here and 2 there. And that makes sense if it's gonna, like, they may be over here, so I don't know where they go. But it also has fuse box that's out of a fuel injected model. The normal 2002s just have 6 fuses. This one here has 12 fuses. I think the former owner was wanting to make this into a TII with a standard transmission, and he might have got that wiring harness somewhere, who knows where. This fuse, maybe the whole fire wiring harness is out of an old TII somewhere, who knows. But I'll have to see if I can make it work on this one with what I have. Anyhow, the color codes don't seem to match where things are supposed to go. Well, just these, see that there's got a blocker right there, and that stops it from going down one of these pins, where I would think that should be here, but it's not going to go there. Maybe it, yeah, purple, so it should be here, where that thing sits. Well, I'll just see what I can come up with. Anyway, there. I have got them all stuck in here. Now, right or wrong, I don't know. They might be close. Something might get fused anyhow. So, that's like it's different than what the book says, right? Then this stuff here, no idea what this is for, but I guess I can look at the colors and sort of figure out what it's supposed to be for, right? Maybe. I think this blue stuff is all for fuel injection stuff, though. Let me just find the color here. That wire has been pretty close to an exhaust pipe sometime. Single wire. Brownish, right? Is it? Brown and black, maybe? Got to be another one here somewhere. Green and white and green. One, two, three, four. Wonder if that's the injection monitor or whatever. One of these ones down here. Excuse me. Okay, a green and an orangish color. See if I can find anything like that. Yeah, so I'm at the worst part of the puzzle, is trying to figure out where this electronic stuff goes. That's the horn relay I figured out. I think that's a headlight relay, high beam, low beam, or something, maybe. That's a voltage regulator. This is a ground, easy. Then I've got wires into the fuse box. Now, whether they're right or wrong, we don't know, but there's all sorts of wires in there. They'll conduct electricity. Don't know where that goes. I think that's for the wash wipers, maybe, but I'm not really sure. Don't know where it goes. So maybe I'll go get the wipers, see what that looks like, clean them up, see what that looks like, and get the heater box, see if that works. Then if I put everything that I know what goes, then what's left over has got to go where I don't know, right? See, and there's a wire connector goes on here of some sort, flat thing. Don't see it anywhere, do you? Unless there's 2 wires go on it, don't know. Yeah, so here's this plug here is a diagnostics thing. This plug here plugs into the wipers. That plug, don't know what that plug does. An oddball plug. I don't see where it goes anywhere yet, but it'll likely show up. There's wires that should go down to the. There's 4 wires go to the transmission, and I don't have that wire connector. I wonder if it is somewhere on the road in Ontario. I don't see it anywhere around here. I went over and I got the wiper motor and the heater. Now the heater fan is a little bit stiff. I don't think that's going to move awful easy. So I guess I'll see about getting that all apart and cleaned up and maybe get a new fan for it. We don't know what we'll do. Yeah, I guess the windshield whoppers work. That's high speed. Hang on till I put you over here. Oh, wait. Oops, he's just looking at me. So that's a high speed one there. Pull this out. That's low speed there. Then if you do this one here, it goes back to park, I think. Not really sure. Or maybe this is intermittent or something. Don't know for sure. Oop, that shorted it out. Okay. Better not do that. Anyway, seems to work. Yeah, so there's the camera, and it had a oh, there's the camera. There's the wiper. I was looking for the camera. I spent 10 minutes looking for the camera. Wiper motor's back in. These things seem to be okay. They had a rubber seal that was in there that this would clamp onto, but I just put a O-ring on each side, same size O-ring on each side, and it seems to be pretty good. It moves around a bit with that, but that's supposed to do that, I think. And it had this wire, like a wire just had been snipped there. So I'll find out where the other snipped half is, and then I'll see where I can route this through somewhere down there. I'll get this stuff out of the way. That's my holding pen for a bunch of stuff. Actually, I got time to clean up a bit in here. There's the O-rings, right? Metric O-rings. I'm sure that makes a big difference. Okay, so see if I can find the wiring into there. I know that they work, so we're happy with that. Okay, well that's enough for today. That's a little bit of progress, not very much. Tomorrow I have to clean up in here so I can start making a new mess, because it's time for a new mess. This is the old mess, and you really got to clean up and make a new mess every now and then. This thing here, I found out that the lights, those two, see that white wire there? It's got two lights at the end, and they fit into those two holes there, and that just lights that up. When you pull the lever back, it'll light up the pernundle. So, but it doesn't have anything interactive, like it. That's all the electricity that gets into there. I still have to figure out how to hook up the wiring down here to the transmission, because I don't seem to see a plug for it, number one, and I don't seem to see any sort of reference to it in the wiring diagrams. I'm sure it's there, just I don't recognize it, I guess. Don't know, maybe it's this one here that's supposed to go down there, but it need a different plug to go on here, right? Which I haven't seen, don't know where, not here. So maybe I'll have to just make something up to fit on there, and then figure out what does what by turning the gears. I imagine it goes, like I imagine if it's in park, it'll short a couple of wires, and if it's in drive, it'll short a couple of wires, or neutral, it'll short a couple of wires, and that'll then allow the starter to kick in, or something like that, anyhow. Yeah, so came yesterday, and he came and he cleaned. I cleaned up all my tools and stuff and put them all sort of away. And cleaned up around here, made some room so I can walk over here into the toolbox. Don't know what was here, but I moved it out of the way. Oh yeah, some scrap metal, I put it out back there. Anyway, and then cleaned off that desk a bit. But during all the cleaning frenzy, I found this. Remember I talked about it? That's the steady bearing that I brought somewhere along the way. I didn't know whether this new drive shaft came with one or not, so I figured I'd be prepared. They aren't expensive. Now, I don't know, did I show you this? So, right here is just leaking a bit out of there, and right here there's a bit of drippage going on. I don't know if that's from there, or let me look and see. Yeah, it must be, yeah, just right there. So I'll tighten those things up. That's the, whatever you call that, the copper washers there, just leaking around them a bit. So tighten those two things up, and that's all the fluid sort of just dripping down, coming down out of the thing here, the torque converter, and then it raises above that level, I think. So once we run it a bit and start getting all the channels filled up, that might cure itself. And if it doesn't, I'll think about how to cure it, because it's not a great deal of oil. It's only just like that little bit right there. That's about a week's worth right there. So I'll put that underneath and let it drip away. Anyhow, won't worry about it yet, but I will worry about it down the way after I get it running. After it's like, once it's running, and then everything's looking, get the electrics figured out, which are a challenge, because there's, I don't know, can you see this? Wait till I get my little light, little portable light. Here it is. Right there. Can you see that? Yeah, there's four connectors, and I haven't found yet what goes on there, but I'll figure out what they do by just, you know, putting one of them. They've got a ground on something or other, so I'll see what they do when I put it in different gears and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's coming up. But first, today, just for something easy, I'll see if I can, well, nothing's easy around here, but I'll see if I can take this apart and make it, either decide how to fix it, or else get it, find a new one somewhere. Anyway, but I'll take it apart and see what's cooking with it. And I'd like to check out the heater core on it too. That'd be a good thing to do. Okay. Yeah, so it had these 4 clippy things on here, and found out they're for holding the motor in. These things. So now this pop rivet, pop rivet, pop rivet. Yeah, a little bit of WD-40 does wonders. So this little cap here is a dust cap for that. That maybe, like, one of the tabs broke on it, so, but I might be able to just sort of glue it back on there, which would be a good thing just to keep it covered up. But that's spinning nice and easy now. I'll see if I can put some electricity to it and see what happens. And then we'll check out the rest of the stuff in here. These pop rivets come out and the whole thing comes apart, just like that. Easy. I'll have to undo that, I think, and that'll get that out of the way. And then I'll have to repair this, because that's where the water heater switch goes. So maybe I'll make a piece of metal that fits on there, just to reinforce that. See what I come up with. Okay. Yeah, there it goes. It seems the positive side is on here, negative side is on there, which is just the way the wiring works. It's got red to that side, but that's definitely sending that way. I'll leave that running for a while. Just turn down the volts a bit. Yeah, so it's happy to run at less speed. Eight volts makes that speed there. Cool. I'm going to turn it up to 12. Let it run for quite a while. Get some oil into it. Just WD-40, pretty light machine oil, right? That's encouraging that that thing just works, right? It's just been sitting for a long time. Got seized up. Cool. Now, get this cleaned up. Now I got a nice fan going in here. That's great. Yeah, there, that's cleaned up and at full speed, I think. Pretty good fan. And it's very good variable speed. 5 volts. I don't know what there's resistors in there. Now I'll just shut it off. I'll show you. So I cleaned up the fan blades with the wire wheel. And it really runs nice and smooth. Then I used some electrical contact cleaner in there where the brushes are, but I didn't get too involved in that. Well, that seems to be pretty good. This little power supply is a great little thing for stuff like this. Yeah, there's enough for today. I got distracted. The car's back down on the ground here. But that's encouraging that this part here is working. So that's good. We'll get that finished cleaning up tomorrow and then perhaps put it back together and see if it'll actually go into the car somewhere. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so I couldn't find anything underneath the E24 over there at 635. Now in here I've got wires hooked up to there. So the top one is that wire. Has that got a bunch of grease on there? I'll check it out. And then the bottom connection there is that wire right here. So if you put those two, if you put it in reverse, that and that shorts. Well, that connects that to that. So that would be the reverse light switch, right? That's so far the only thing I can find that does anything on that connector. Maybe it's got to have power going into it. Don't know. Anyhow, like it should be a cutoff switch that won't let it start in. So the other two must be for the cutoff switch that won't let it start when it's in gear. Now I don't know for sure how that's going to work, but we'll figure that out as we go along. So this one, that brown with a green stripe on it, and that yellow with just straight yellow, yellow and brown with a green stripe are the reverse light. When you put it in reverse, that activates that switch. So a little bit of knowledge there now. The other two I'll figure out as we go along. Ah well. Now back to this. Hey, back to this. I'll clean up. Need more cleaning. Yesterday I just took a break, went and did some other stuff. So we'll clean up all this. First off, I'll see if I can make a little metal reinforcement for this to be able to put this on there. And it'll be solid. Then it's got, like I've got the little pipe that goes in between, and it's that much pipe, and it looks like like there's nothing wrong with that pipe. So we'll use it. I think I have other pipe here the same sort of thing, but we'll use what's there because it seems to be fine. Lots of pipe there. Anyway, okay, we'll carry on. Yeah, there I made a little bracket in here for it to hold that. Now I'm going to take that apart again. I'll show it to you when I take it apart. But this part here, that square thing fits on there and makes it go back and forth, right? And that just turns on and off the water to run heat into the system. Okay, and that seems to work. I checked, like I turned it off and on and blew in it, and so it seems to hold all right. Now, so I'll pull this off, I'll paint that, and then I'm going to let it dry for a while. Then I'm going to put some glue behind it so that it, glues on good and tight, and then I'll put this all back together. That'll be the first part. Yeah, there, the motor's back in. Now when you're putting it in, you see these clippy things here. They have to reach way over at the bottom. They got to reach way over and grab the motor. If you don't do that, if that doesn't happen, then the motor won't sit straight and it'll scrape on everything. So right there is good. Maybe I'll hook up some electricity and see if it actually does work. Hang on. Yeah, there's blowing the beach down. You can't really see that, but that's a rhythm or something. Huh? A little bit of that's good. Okay. Yeah, so I've got this back together with 3 rivets there. The wires in there are hooked up on their things, and these ones here, I still have to put rivets down here. Very difficult, heavy-duty rivets, and get this rubber sting in the way, right? But for now, here's the, I've got that set to, I don't know, can you read that? 12.61 volts. So here's low speed. That's hooked on there. Medium speed. High speed. So, that thing works. Yay. Okay, so now I'll just get these, well, get this put together down here still. Pretty near working heater box. Now these things here, I was pushing and pulling and prodding, but all you need is one of these things that you use for doing circlips, right? That's done. Just get that tool in there like that and it spreads them. That's done. That's how easy that is. So that's all back together. Oh, no, not quite. Still have to do this bit here now. Okay, I'll work on that now. I've got the part here painted. It'll go in like that, and then I'll get some glue on that side of it so that it goes in well. Okay, I'll get back to you. All I did was put some of this ultra black stuff on there. That's like RTV stuff. And then this, there's an arrow going here, right? So I'm going to point that towards there. Don't know if that's right or not, but that's the way it is today. And I'll get the bottom one in first, I think. When you know that thing's right in my way. It fit when I put it in here a few minutes ago, right? Whoops, better put the rubber on there first. I think I just got lucky right there. Now I got yuck all over me, but that's okay. Now this bit here goes on. Guess I better see which way that's going to turn. There, like that, right there. We think. That's a 7mm thing. Okay, so that's open there, right? That's closed. Open, closed. And that opens the air vent to come into the car. So it won't, I don't know if it lets air through the vent when it's not working. I think it just stops everything. Okay, heater box back together. Had to put new hose clamps on it, so they're new. Hopefully they'll fit into the wherever it has to go. And then this is sticky on both sides, but I'm going to just leave one side with the tape with this stuff on it, because that'll make it so it's just cushioning. Now I'll go and figure out where it goes inside the car, maybe. Hey, how about that? Okay, heater box is in the car. This one connector was bad, so I replaced it down in. Can you see down there? Where am I? Likely can't see now because I took the light away. Right, there's a light in there. There's where the connectors go over there. You can just sort of barely see them over there. Anyway, maybe I'll look at it this way. See if you can see that. Can you see that stuff? Those connectors go on the outside of the thing. Then there's connectors that go on this switch here. And the whole thing is underneath in there. Just two bolts, one here and one on the other side, that hold it in there. And then that's the fan right there somewhere. Yeah, should be the fan right there. And so anyhow, it's all in. Just see how things work out now. Okay, now I just started to work on trying to get that ignition key to work properly. It's not turning in the lock. So I'll get one of the door handles and see if it turns in the door handle lock, and then we'll figure out from there what's going on. And I'll see what it takes to get a new tumbler for that thing, or how to get the tumbler out of that thing. Anyway, enough for today. Heater's in it, and I think the wiring is okay. And I'll just, well, what'll I do? As soon as I ever get something all hooked up, I'll try it out and see what happens. And these hoses seem to come to the right spot there. You can get a hose in from each side. Oh, yeah, right there. And I do have the right hoses. That's the hose that goes over there. Now I don't know where it really goes once it's left there. And this is the hose that goes here. Don't know where it goes when it leaves there either. But we'll figure that out as we go along. Okay, see what that is? That's the ignition thing. Now, up until a few minutes ago, it wasn't working at all, but now it seems to be miraculously back to life. So this key here, right? Whoops. Turns it every which way, but you want. So how do I get that out of there? You see this? I don't know, can you see that? That's a roll pin at the bottom of the thing, right? So what you do is you put the key in the ignition at that position, F-A-H-A, whatever it is, right? If you can. If not, I don't know if it makes any difference. I think there's that, yeah, that creates room for the roll pin to push that way. See how that is right here? Makes room for the roll pin to push in. So then you just push in, like take a 1/8 inch punch and just push it in until it, and then this thing just comes right out. I'll show you on the car where all that is. Hang on. Here we are. There's my 1/8 inch punch right there. And how can I get light in here and you in here and me in here? Now you see underneath here, can you see this right here? There's a hole right there. So right about there. Now that 1/8 punch will just fit in there, and it pushes up. You just push up until, tap it with a hammer until this thing here comes kind of loose, and then there's this little bit of whatever it is. It's an electrical connection of some sort that goes sliding in right here, part of the system. Whoops, part of the system. So you want to have that back in there later when you're putting everything back together. I think it goes in after the key. But now that that's working all right, I'm going to go take that into a locksmith and get a little bit better key made for it, because it wouldn't turn at all. And now, let me get slid in here. This thing here wasn't turning either. Either or. Like that. The whole mechanism in there wasn't turning, but now that's start, run, and it seems to go to off all right. I think that locked. No, it didn't lock the steering. That's start, run, and it should turn this way, but it's not. So I'll work on that a bit and maybe get this thing to work properly. So far, don't know what's going on there, but I'll give that a bit of work. Maybe I'll have to take the back end off, but I don't really want to if I don't have to. I'll work on it a bit from here and see what I can get. I think that's, don't know. Anyhow, it'll be a bit of work here. Yeah, so down in the barrel there, it's upside down and backwards. So I guess I have to take it apart from the back and everything. So I guess I gotta I'll remove the whole steering mechanism, and that'll make it a doable project on the bench, eh? Yeah, so now this is off, right? That's in and out, right? So I'll just take these 2 screws off the bottom here. Now I've got the camera running mostly so that I know when this springs apart, I have a chance of seeing where stuff went, right? Don't know. I might not be the very first person into this, right? Well, that was pretty simple. So these things here, now that might need some cleaning. Something rattling around in there. Okay. Now, oops. That part there fits right in there. You see, that's jammed up solid. Oh, and there's a spring coming out of there. Pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. Uh-oh. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so there's only that position left, right? Now, do you suppose if I take that apart, will I be able to get it back together? Might be able to. See, it's got rivets in there. Ay, ay, ay. But something is got forced in there. That's why it wouldn't work. Okay, got a spring that came out of right at that hole there, right? Damn. Ooh. This is gonna be a pain. Because I don't know that these are available. But they might be. Well, I'll take it apart. No point in worrying about it because it's broken already. So I'll drill this end out, I think, if I can. And then we'll see what happens when it comes up. There, now, where am I? Right here. I think I'll go over on the other bench, right? Over here. Hang on. Let me get cleaned up and set up. Okay, so I drilled those two things out of there, and I think this will snap off the back of here now. Yeah, well, now there's going to be a bunch of springs and shit in here, I think. I don't know what's going to happen. There. Yep. In there is, what the hell is in there? Okay. There's what's rattling around, that thing. Formerly in here. One spring, two spring. The third spring had to be in here like this. And then that ball bearing was likely on against that, right? Yeah, you see there's 3 stops there for the ball bearing. Stop 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's what's happened is the ball bearings just come out of place. Now, this part here, whoops, there, that comes off of there. And there's another piece of plastic there, broken. That might all work once I get all the plastic out of it, right? Clean up those things there. Wonder where that was sitting, right? Wonder if it matters. That's the bit that turns. This spring here creates it so that when you hit the key, it comes back. So that's all right. And this is keyed more or less. Yeah, see that little notch right there? It goes right there, so you got that. That can't go anywhere but there. Okay, so this ball bearing is supposed to be in on the top of it all, going back and forth with that spring that I found underneath it. These 2 springs here just run free, and I think this whole thing turns with the, yeah, like here. That goes in like that, and the third ball bearing goes in and holds onto there. Okay, well, let me see if I can get this cleaned up a bit. And this is the bit that holds the ball bearing in the spring. I don't know if I can make one of those on a 3D printer. I'll just see if I can clean it up a bit. See how it feels. The ball bearing sits right on that. Well, we'll find out if we can put it back together. Okay. Well, there, most of the bits are cleaned up. Haven't done anything with this yet. I'm gonna just have a good look at it. Use a bit of brake clean on it, and use a bit of brake clean on that, and same with those 2 things there. See what happens. Now I'll use a new straight spring. Like this spring here is all bent because that thing was out of shape. Don't know if that's going to be suitable or not. Guess we'll find out. So now, this part here is easy, it goes in. Well, no. That part goes in here. Well, it can only go one way, like that, right? But first, got to put the springs in. Crooked spring, right? Which one of those is the best of the two? I'll take this one here. Straight spring. Those two springs go in like that. This goes on. Okay, try this again. Okay, I'll fiddle with it here until I get it in and I'll show you. There, it's back together. Now whether it'll work or not, we don't know. Oh, come on. Don't think it's working very well. This should turn it, right? But it's not because that ball bearing is stuck in there. But maybe that ball bearing, if it was up against, well, it's gone now, eh? Jesus. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there now. Take a look and see. I think the ball bearing took a ride. Yeah. So this holder for the ball bearing is kapooey. What can I do about that, I wonder? Wonder if I can make one of them. And this is, but it's also, this is bad here. So, oh dear me. So that thing there is kaput. There now. I fiddled with it enough so that it's turning all the way back properly. But the stops aren't the stops aren't right. Well, the stops aren't necessarily wrong, but they're it might work. It might not work because there's one spring missing out of it, right? And a new one is $300 and some odd, which, well, I don't even know if the new one's available. So I'm going to put it in and see what it's supposed to, see what it does. It might work, might not work. We'll put it in for now. At least I know how to get it in and out fairly easily now without too much trouble. But I'll show you what I did. More bits breaking off it. Don't know where they're coming from. In here, this part here used to be right there, and it, or right there, and it was jamming on that, so the key wouldn't return. Like you get it to turn, but you couldn't get it to turn back. So I took that piece out of here, and this spring business here, like the one spring that's not here is this one here, which would be that one, and then it's got this little holder here for the ball bearing, but because it's broken on that side there, it doesn't hold the ball bearing anymore. So that's the spring on this side is non-existent. But this part here holds it fairly straight, so I'm going to put it together like that and see what happens. Well, there, that fell into place. The this part here, I've got that just set in there like that, and that's the thing that turns the ignition. Then this falls into place, and that's key, start, run, and then it should, that locks the steering wheel right there. Then I should be able to, that unlocks the steering wheel. There, that locks the steering wheel. Good. So that's unlocked the steering wheel, and that's should be the position for, don't know what that position is, whether there's any electricity there or not, but that one there, now there should be running there, right? And start. That might be ACC, or that one there might be ACC. Unlocked, locked. Yeah, so that would be all the stuff, electricity turned on for radio. That would be run, start, run. Okay, I can put the little thing back in here, I think, which is that thing right there. So I'll just, all I do is just jam it in there. The key works, and the key was always working. It was not a key problem. It was a that was jamming down in here. Okay, now at the worst, at the best it'll work. At the worst, I'll have this for locking the steering wheel, right? And then maybe get the, and then I might have to put in another switch for just a starter switch, but we'll just see what happens. That might work, might not work, and if it doesn't work, then we'll figure it out. I can always hotwire the damn thing, right? Okay, that's, at least the key is working, and I can start and turn off the car. Well, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, okay, I think this piece goes on here like that, and then this wire comes in from the top up here through that little gap. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to take the plastic off. That will go right, that goes on the inside of that, but that's later. I think I can take the plastic thing off, and I'll put the steering wheel on without, like, and this rail in here, and this rail will get the plastic will hold it up against this later, and I cleaned off all that stuff in there. Okay, so coming up next, steering wheel's still there, but the shaft is going back up there. Can you see up there? It's likely difficult to see into that. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah. Up there, the shaft is going into that. So now I'll let the car back down and see if I can get that shaft to drop into there. Yeah, another 10-minute search for the camera, right? Okay, but it's quitting time today anyhow. So this, I'll take that out tomorrow, remove that pin right there. And then Gus came, and it's quitting time anyhow. Like, it's 5:23, well past quitting time. But Gus came, we had to do a bit of an emergency bolt repair on that one there, because the plugs are fouled. So we just cleaned the plugs up, and then it worked fine. So Gus is going to get a couple of new plugs, and we'll lean out the fuel supply a bit. Less oil. Yeah, I had a start at getting it back into the car, but then I noticed I'd forgotten this little bit here, which goes right on that side of the key. So I'll pull that out, take it apart, and then while I'm at it, while it's off, I'll go ahead and I'll take this off again, and I'm going to epoxy that as a spring into its spot there, so that that will balance the plate there better, and maybe it'll work a little bit better. Like, oops, it was working. Yeah, there. See, it's working fine. But if I balance that plate and get a spring on everything, then all the contacts should work, right? So we'll just see. It just won't have the locking spots because that ball bearing thing made the locking spots. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's that spring epoxied in there. I'll just let that harden up for a while. There's epoxy there. Once that's hardened, that's hardened. Then the other two springs, I just put them in naturally, the way they sit, and see what happens. Yeah, so there, that's in there. And now these two go in, right? So that one goes right there, and that one goes right there, and then this copper goes on top like this. Well, on bottom, it's, well, who knows what direction it is, and that right there, and that's, so that'll give it even pressure everywhere, we hope. Then this goes on right about there. Yeah, and that's the ignition position, the way I've got the key set right now. And this goes on, that little keyway goes on right here. Like that. And then if I can jam that into the ignition, that should work. I'll just see what I can do about that. Okay. That same little, I don't know if you can see the little notch right there, but that same little notch is in the bottom of the ignition thing. Once again, the steering wheel is in, or the steering, not wheel, but the steering stuff is in. And then I was trying to figure out where wiring is going here, but I think I'll wait till next time and get that, because I'll cut this one off here. I think you got enough footage on there for keep you wiring. It's not very exciting YouTube, not very exciting, what do you call this, content, but got to be done. So it'll likely be another week on wiring, but you never know, things might turn out and go all right. And so I'm kind of figuring it out. Some of the stuff like that, where is it? There used to be a relay hanging around down there. That right there, that's the relay for, that's the back side of the relay for the automatic transmission starter business. So I've got to figure out how that hooks onto stuff. Anyhow, and then I did figure out that the emergency flasher switch is what I thought would go on the back of the ignition switch, but the ignition switch is just going to be a bunch of bare wires. There they are there. Or not bare wires, but without anything on them. So I think I've got that one there goes on the ignition. Those ones go on the ignition. So most of them I've got accounted for. I think I need one more to go on the ignition somehow. A gray wire. I don't know where that gray wire is, but we'll find it. Anyway, that's coming along. So what did we get done this week? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, to get this fuse box in here. Now whether the fuses are on there right or not, we really don't know. We do know a few other things about this. Like this thing here, I still don't know what that is. This one here is for the windshield whopper stuff. Whopper fluid. This wire here, We have no knowing of what that is. But these things here are fairly self-evident, and the wiring going around to the motor is like that's for the alternator, and that one's for the temperature sensor. Don't know where the oil pressure sensor is yet, but we'll find that. I think I'll put a oil pressure gauge in it anyhow also. We'll see how that comes together. Battery sort of goes in here all right, and all the stuff is coming along. Anyway, it's cleaning up wiring and figuring out wiring is, especially when not my fault. I didn't take it apart. Ah, well, what the hell. Okay, see ya. Okay, here I'm heading down through the beach, through the path. Nice morning today. It's July 26th, 2025. Got my trusty companion in front of me there. It's like, take the dog for a walk, but the dog walks by himself, so he doesn't really need me too badly. He'll go down off in the woods there and check something out. Nope. Carry on straight through. Okay. We'll see what it's like at the beach in a minute. Yeah, here we are. There's a great big eagle right over there on the pond. There he goes. Cool. Immature eagle, that one. Heading for the cliff over there. I don't know if you can still see him, but he's out there. Don't know what they did there do at the back of the pond. Must be looking for frogs, hey? It's a frog pond. Yeah, Saturday morning. Nobody here yet. No boats, nothing. That's good. I like it like that. Okay, see you later.